Hello and welcome to the Land of Brand Laboratory, or as we like to call it, the LOBoratory for short. This is your host and lead Mad Brand scientist, Holly Chantal. And if you've never joined us before, we meet every Wednesday at 12 o'clock Eastern Time, and we talk about different experiments or strategies in your brand. So how do you build a brand that stands out in the marketplace and engages your ideal clients? And this is our last live broadcast of the year. After this, you will have access to the replays and we'll send out some encore performances. But today is the last day to actually see us live. And basically what we've been doing over the last 4 weeks is a series on creating your bucket list for 2015. And a bucket list is nothing more than your goals. So, and not just your goals, but actually breaking them down into bite-sized pieces that you can then kick. So a bucket list typically is a list of things you want to do before you die, and our business bucket list is things we want to do in the next year. Because I think that, waiting until you die is way too long and a little bit morbid. So let's go ahead and swap over to the presentation. And we're going to go ahead and make this full screen. All right, so today we're talking about how to plan your big brand goals. So over the last 3 weeks, we've talked about different areas of your bucket list. First, we did the introduction of what it was. The next week, we did your offering, so how to plan what you're selling and how many you're going to sell in the next year to plan your income goals. And then last week, we talked about your marketing. So again, very numbers driven. Numbers of how many people you want on your list, how many people you're going to connect through social media, how many people you're going to have in your community and your tribe, and how many clients you're going to get. So those are all very numbers driven. And your brand is a little bit different. So your brand is really, where do you want to take your business in the next year, and what do you need to have in place in order to do that? How do you get visible on a massive scale? So this will be a short presentation just like the other ones. We're trying to keep these workshops short and sweet so that you can actually spend time putting together your bucket list. And your goal is to get to 100 items on your bucket list for the next year. They don't all have to be business, though many of them will be, especially going along with our topics we've had over the last couple of weeks. So the game plan for today, branding schmanding, what is possible for you this year? Setting big brand goals and then breaking them down into teensy kickable pieces. So this is why you should take your brand very seriously. So I kind of say branding schmanding playfully because some people don't realize how important their brand is. And let's look at what makes a successful business. So a successful business is visible and attracting the right people. So attracting people that are ready to take action, ready to hire you, and it takes more than just a pulse and a checkbook to make sure that you're attracting ideal clients. Even though someone might be ready and willing to pay your fee, they might not be an ideal client if they're going to drive you insane as you work together. So you want to make sure that you're attracting the right people. And in order to do that, you need to be putting out the right message. And being visible to those people, showing up where they hang out, and that is a huge part of your brand. Standing out as unique in the marketplace. Yes, you are going to have competition. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of other coaches out there. And it is important that you stand out. What makes you different? Why should I hire you over everyone else? And that is what your brand does. Having a clear message so that prospects know you serve them. So being very clear in your communication, who you serve, what you do for them, why they should hire you over everyone else has to be expressed in your brand. And that is going to really speak to the above two, attracting the right people and standing out. You need to have tools like a website that help you leverage your time to focus on building your business. So focusing on the stuff that you're passionate about, why you started your business in the first place, to be able to do what you love. Unless you're a website designer or a marketing coach, then marketing and website design are not the things that get you going in the morning. So you need to have those put in place so that you're not having to waste your time focusing on the inanities of business that just don't get your blood flowing. In short, your brand is what makes a successful business. Your brand accomplishes all of these things. And that's why you really need to make it a priority when you're setting your goals this year. Your brand has to be a priority in how you're going to build it. So feasible goals for next year. Get a website that stands out and that you are proud of. So that would be a huge step in the right direction for your brand, because I know that many coaches are suffering from website embarrassment, or a website that maybe they like the look of but is still not getting them clients. So that should be, if you don't have a website already that's running your business for you and bringing in clients, you need one. And that should be a priority for you next year. Define and become known for your unique message. This one is a little bit simpler. It should not take you a whole year to do, but it's something that you need to know before you can do everything else that we've talked about, before you can market, before you can create your offerings. You need to know what your message is, because all of those things are going to reinforce that message, and you need to make sure it's something that you want to become known for, because that is what is building a brand. Be featured in multiple media outlets. That's a great way to build visibility, get your message out there, and drive people back to your website. Media outlets could include magazines, TV, other blogs, other websites that serve your audience. Yesterday I was working with a client, and she works with real estate agents, and we were trying to find ways for her to get on Trulia and Zillow and these big websites that serve her audience. Put systems in place to automate boring parts of your business. So a website is a huge system in your business. You might not realize it. A lot of times we're thinking of a website as being kind of a big old virtual business card, when really your website is automating you. It's automating your follow-up. It's automating a big part of the sales conversation and conveying what you do. It's automating building credibility and a relationship with your audience. So your website is a huge piece of that. And when you have one that's doing all that work for you, you can then focus on the things that you are really passionate about doing. And you can really focus on the building of your business. So these are obviously big goals, big things to get big visibility in 2015, which is exactly what you want. However, the bucket list is not about setting big goals. It's about taking those goals and breaking them into bite-sized pieces so that you can kick them off your list throughout the year. And the whole theory behind this is, if we have these little bite-sized pieces, instead of trying to create giant goals that seem too hard to achieve, or trying to create habits just by writing them down, that you're going to be more motivated to actually accomplish these things. And as you're kicking these small pieces of your goals, you're reaching the bigger picture. So let's look at some bite-sized pieces that will help you achieve these big goals. Get a professional headshot. This is paramount to your brand. You have to have a professional headshot. Whether or not you're getting a new website or not, you need a headshot. No more of these, you're hugging your friend and you crop your friend out, or you go out in your backyard and take a picture. Hire a photographer. It is worth its weight in gold. You will use the headshot for everything. Get some fun headshots too to use on social media or on some other pages of your website. So put on a fun outfit. Be yourself. So you want, something that looks professional for speaker sheets and that kind of thing, but you also want fun. You want people to see your personality, and that goes a long way to building your brand. Interview a website designer. That's just one step to finding someone to do your website. Interview a designer. Take a look at templates if you want to use a template. That's a very easy thing to kick off your list. Collect 10 testimonials that speak to your uniqueness. This is huge and something that is probably being overlooked by many of you. Take a look at the clients you serve and get testimonials from them. Interview them. If they don't have time to just write a testimonial or they're not sure what to say, Interview them. Ask them questions and you write the testimonial and then send it to them for their approval. I've been doing this myself over the last couple of weeks. So collect at least 10 that you can use on your website and on your sales pages that drive home why people should hire you over everyone else. Find 10 media outlets that you can submit content to. So this just takes a little bit of research, Googling stuff online and just finding places that your target market hangs out, blogs that are around your topic. Big websites, like I said, Trulia, Zillow for real estate agents or interior decorators, those kinds of things. Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, magazines, print magazines, online magazines. There are a plethora of places that you can get published and will build your credibility. Do you ever see on people's websites where they have the as featured in and they have all these fancy dancy logos and you immediately think, man, this person knows what they're talking about? You can have that too. It is actually not that difficult. So find 10 media outlets that you can submit your content to and see what happens. Make a list of tech tools that you need. So if you are just starting your business and you don't have an autoresponder to send out your follow-up messages when someone opts in, if you don't have webinar software, if you don't have a, the video editing software, you're planning on doing videos and you don't have editing software, make a list of what you need and then you can break that list down and actually start researching those items. But the first step is identify what's missing in your business and before you can actually take steps to fill that gap. So what do you want to do next year? A new year is always filled with possibilities. We're kind of ending 2014. And when you look at the new year, what do you see? What do you want to do with your business? The beginning of the year is the best time to jump in and get momentum. So thinking about these goals and this bucket list now is important so that you can just jump right in January 1st and get going. You're not just starting to plan your year, because you will feel so much more motivated when the clock strikes midnight on January 1st. I don't know why. It's definitely, it's really a brand if you think about it. It's something that has been created by people, and we expect every year, and we have this perception around it that we need to be inspired, and it's a new beginning. So take advantage of that. Take advantage of that inspiration and that extra motivation and get started. Do you want help or you're not sure where to focus first? So when you're looking at these big goals and your bucket list, are you confident that you know where you should be focusing and what pieces you should start with? These are obviously things we can help you with at the Land of Brand. I have a free assessment that will also help you. If you were on our webinar last week, we had a bunch of you take this assessment, and people are finding really interesting results. They're finding that they are really strong in some areas of their business and their brand that they weren't expecting, or they're finding that they're not as strong as they could be because they overlooked a piece of their brand. So this is a free assessment, brandpowerassessment.com, and it'll help you identify where you're really strong in your brand and where you can use a little bit of work. And it'll give you, it'll email you your results, and those results will tell you where you should be focusing first. So this is just something fun to do that I wanted to offer you guys, since this is our last live LOBoratory of 2014. And I am putting together topics for next year. So if you have any topics or questions that you would like to see answered in a future LOBoratory, you can email holly@thelandofbrand.com. And so next week we have Thanksgiving, so you won't be getting anything, but throughout December I will be sending you some encore performances. So some of our most popular LOBoratory calls from the last year, I will be sending those to you so that you can revisit them, or you may have signed up after they debuted, so you'll be catching some things that you missed. And you might be asking yourself, well, if you're taking off from the LOBoratory for a month, does that mean you're taking a break from your business? And the answer is no. We are still in business. We are still booking consulting clients right now. So if you do want to get started before the beginning of the year, shoot me an email, holly@thelandofbrand.com. And we're still here. I will still answer your emails. I'm still around. We're just taking a break from the laboratory so I can plan for next year and get a lot of awesome content lined up for you to start the year off fresh. So I don't see any questions. I think there might have been a little hiccup in connecting Webinar Jam to Hangouts. So if you have questions after you watch the replay, shoot me an email, holly@thelandofbrand.com. Otherwise, I bid you adieu and happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays, and I will see you in 2015. Bye.